All right, so now let's get into can you litigate nicely? I don't know. I mean, I can try, but I don't know. People don't always think I'm nice. So depending on, I try to be respectful, but it can be a challenge when you have opposing views to still keep the peace, so to speak. But when you're at odds, trying to achieve different results. The first thing I want to talk about is how do you approach a family member? So with estate planning, a lot of times we're talking about a trust. This is, the parents that manage it, maybe mom and dad are the trustee of it. I had some clients, we're doing an estate plan for them. They're setting up their own trust and digital asset trust, protecting their family. As part of the process, we have the clients prepare an inventory of assets so that we can advise them on how everything should be set up so it avoids probate and works together with their trust. In this situation, they identified that he had an interest in an irrevocable trust, but they didn't know much about it. And his mom was a trustee. I let them know that we represent beneficiaries, but I realize it's a challenge. If you have a good relationship with your parents or whoever the trustee is, you don't want to damage that relationship. So how should you approach that? What I recommend is just be open and honest with. A lot of times it comes up as estate planning when I'm helping someone develop their own plan. They realize that they're a beneficiary of another trust. So what I recommend, or one option I say, is that they can say, as part of their estate plan, the attorney identified, that there may be options for their interest in the trust that protects their family. So use that as a way to bring it up. See if you can get a copy of the trust and get more information about it. The other thing I'll say is, weigh the desired outcome. What are you hoping to achieve with this? You may be a beneficiary of a trust, and maybe on paper it says it's supposed to distribute to you, but for whatever reasons, the person's not following that. But there could be an even bigger trust as well. That's what I mean by weigh the desired outcome. Meaning if you are pushing it and say, hey, I want to see what my rights are under this trust. I see this a lot when their grandparents create a trust for the grandchild, where they might have a certain interest. You attorneys and financial advisors out there may be familiar with ILITs, Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust, and crummy notices. But without getting too far into the weeds, there's some estate planning strategies where it allows a person to remove assets from their estate by making gifts on behalf of several beneficiaries. To do this, you have to give notice. So when these gifts are made into a trust, in order to qualify for annual exclusion, so you don't have to file a gift tax return, the beneficiaries of the trust have to be given a right to withdraw, which is called a crummy notice. Crummy was the name of the case name. I always thought it was just a crummy job. No one liked doing those notices. It was one of my first jobs I got as a legal clerk, but no, it's a case name. I see this a lot. So a grandchild may get notice. A gift was made on your behalf to this trust. If you would like to withdraw, up to $15,000, you can do so by the next 30 days or whatever it is. So even though they have the right to withdraw, the strategy and big picture plan may be that grandpa is trying to download assets to give you even more later once he passes away. The immediate distribution, you could be giving up something later. So you've weighed the outcome, they haven't responded, you decided you still want to pursue this. So the next step, I recommend you hire legal counsel. This is a situation where you need legal counsel. I've told you, how to write your own will, other things, a lot that you can do without an attorney. But at this point, it's time to lawyer up. Make sure you set deadlines, plan for what happens after each deadline. Part of this topic, can you litigate nicely? A lot of times what people do is they're very nice when they're taking an adverse position, and they just try to get you to not worry about it or not look further into the details, and they try to brush you off very nicely. So that's what I mean by set deadlines and plan for what happens after each deadline.